What's up, nerds? Today we're talking holiday one-shots. The thing about Christmas time is, you get to see your family and your friends and explore holiday cheer. But more importantly, everybody's off work. So you get to hang out with your friends, get a different group together, and play some really cool holiday one-shots. Today we're going to talk about 4 one-shots that you can run at your table that are more interesting than I think the typical ones that get ran. First, we'll start off with the easiest. This one I ran last year, and it was a big hit. We do goblins that are stuck in the coal mines up in the North Pole. They harvest the coal that Santa sends out to all the bad children, and they've had just about enough of it. And it's their turn to try to overthrow Santa Claus and all of his helper elves. The basic premise is you make some pre-made characters, everybody gets to select one or randomly select, and then they make their way out of the mines into the North Pole proper, and then make their way up to Santa Claus's mansion, where they eventually face off with him. Along the way, you can throw some different riddles or tricks at them, and I like to throw in some silly puns or riddles that have to do with like silent nights or unlocking the gate using 5 golden rings that they find spread out around the North Pole. It's a fun game, it's really relaxed, and you can get a lot of people interested on a fairly simple premise. This next holiday one-shot is straight out of Nickelodeon. We're talking about Rugrats Holiday Getaway. Now they're trying to get out of their playpen, make it past the parents and the sleeping grandpa to underneath the tree where they think Dill Pickles is actually trapped inside of a present box. This is going to be difficult, but the party should be well equipped. Tommy, obviously a rogue. His skills with the screwdriver, next level. Susie is going to be your cleric. She's older and should hopefully be able to look out after all the younger ones. Angelica is a warlock. That little doll of hers, perfect patron icon ordeal. Chucky, he's one of my favorites. Chucky is going to be a wild magic sorcerer who basically fumbles and bumbles his way through magic, making things happen unknowingly to him. And lastly, you have Phil and Lil. They're both barbarians. Obvious. Third on our list, we have Charlie Brown Christmas Trouble. I'm just going to go through what the characters are. You can make up your own Christmas wish list of what the issue can be, but I will tell you it should involve Snoopy and Woodstock as the villains. They're just great villains. For this one, I like to put the names of the characters in a hat and let people randomly select. If you want to let people choose the characters on their own, they can, but you're definitely not going to be using all of the characters in Charlie Brown. For this, you have Charlie Brown as a paladin. Marcy's going to be your wizard. She's always carrying that book around, seems like a spell book to me. Lucy as a barbarian. Patty's going to be your fighter. Shrouder is going to be your bard. Pigpen is going to be your dirty druid, just the way that we like them. And then Sally's going to bring up the rear as your cleric. Again, you can let people pick these if you want. I would just use some standard printouts of cleric, fighter, and just let them pick, put a name on the top, and do some simple things to customize the characters. If you're going to use an Eldritch Blast from Pigpen, then maybe instead of force energy coming out of his hand, you just see a smoky cloud of dirt and dust go and attack the lungs of any enemies that they come in contact with. It's really cool to add some flavor, and new players will love it. Okay, last but not least, we're gonna do Scooby-Doo Holiday Mystery. This is my favorite. This is the one I'm running this year, and I'm gonna let you guys know how I'm going to be running it. These are just my opinions on how this game could be run best, but feel free to take any liberties you want with these. Now, the first and probably most contentious thing is going to be Scooby and Shaggy, okay? I like the idea of Scooby and Shaggy being paired as one character. The easiest way to do that in rules as written is to go Beastmaster and then throw on Scooby as an animal companion. But it's a one-shot, and I just think it's cool, and I think Shaggy's a druid at heart. So I go Druid Shaggy, Animal Companion, Scooby, don't feel like multi-classing because I want this to be user-friendly to my family members who typically aren't Dungeons & Dragons players but are going to be playing. Next, I have Scrappy. Scrappy Doo is 100% barbarian, but this barbarian isn't any just normal barbarian. When he rages, he casts Enlarge on himself. So, once he rages, he enlarges, becomes bigger, and is now kind of the hulking Scrappy Doo from that movie that we don't really talk too much about. Next is Velma. Now, I know that there's probably more accurate ways to make Velma, but I'm going straight up wizard. She has the highest int in the entire group, and I don't feel like going through and making her an inquisitive rogue and then multi-classing her or anything like that. Again, this game I'm running is for my family, and I want them to enjoy themselves and for it to be really simple. Fred is interesting. You could go fighter, you could go paladin, but to be honest, the self-righteous kind of bravado and that neck handkerchief ascot thing, I think I'm going paladin. And then last, of course, we have Daphne. Daphne, I made the cleric strictly for the reason that you need a cleric, and I think she'd be pretty good at it. Now, the last thing that I'm doing for each player here is that they all are going to have a negative consequence for rolling natural ones. If Scooby and Shaggy roll a natural one, they become affected by the fear condition. They have to run away, they skedaddle, and I think it's pretty fitting for their characters. Scrappy, if he rolls a natural one, becomes confused. You guys know what that is. You have to roll a dice, see what he does. He gets a little wild, and as a barbarian, that's kind of a scary thing to have happen, but it can be a lot of fun in a campaign that's as short as a one-shot. Daphne is going to be in trouble. Daphne is notorious for getting captured by the bad guy. If she rolls a natural one, she becomes grappled by the nearest enemy. It's not that crazy, but for your cleric, it can be kind of tough. It can add a little bit of drama to the game and also be kind of funny. Next, we have Fred. Fred, he was kind of a tough one for me to come up with something for. I feel like he's kind of a Prince Charming of characters. So I decided if he rolls a natural one, he loses his ascot and his charisma drops by 5 points. Simple enough, it's kind of stupid, probably won't have as big of an impact on the game, but because he's a paladin, his spellcasting modifier also goes away until he can find his ascot. Velma has a pretty similar thing going on, but with her glasses. We all know Velma can never find her glasses once she loses them. Once Velma loses her glasses, she's basically taking on a poison condition. She can't see, so all of her ability checks, saving throws, attack rolls, are all going to be at disadvantage until she finds her glasses. And of course, she has disadvantage on finding her glasses. I don't think these are necessary. They're kind of an optional rule that I'm throwing in just because I love my family. I love watching them freak out when bad things happen, and I just think it'll be hilarious when someone rolls a natural one and I tell them that they lose something important to them and zoinks, you're running away in fear. I hope you've enjoyed this video of holiday one-shot ideas and really just hope that it takes your games this holiday season to the next level. I'm going to include in the description links to all of the character sheets for the Scooby-Doo one-shot and maybe even some notes on how I'm going to run it and some plot things so that you can maybe run it yourself at your table. So, high crit rolls to all and to all a good fight. Merry Christmas.